just pees on you.
Yep, Dieter used to do that too.
Yeah,
Frankie's like 4 months old. I mean, he can be super sweet, but he's also just so much work.
Yeah,
He's a 4-month-old puppy, and we have 7-year-old dogs. So sometimes Frankie wants to party, and they don't. Yeah. So Alyssa is she bought Airstone. I think have I talked about this before? It's just like the texture and weight of pumice, but it looks like rock.
okay.
So the fireplace is like floor tile. So we're basically adhering Airstone over the top of it.
Okay.
So that looks nicer. So she's doing that, which I basically told her that if she laid out how she wanted them or gave me an idea of how she wanted them, I would do it. And then she just decided to do it, which I'm not complaining about.
No, absolutely. Baby,
Yeah.
baby,
Yeah.
I want you to know I will fuck this up for you as much as you want me to.
Yeah. But that's kind of like you can do it if you want, because then you can't get mad at me. But
yeah. And if you ever once say anything critical about it, doesn't matter if it's 15 years from now, your balls will be in such a vice.
Mm-hmm.
Rightly so.
So that
by the way, when I say balls, we understand.
Yeah, the entire thing. Yeah, so she texted me. She's like, "Well, I can't go any further without your opinion." And she were talking about because there's like N pieces. I'm like, fucking whatever. Doing it one way results in needing to purchase another box, and purchasing another box they're like $60 a box, and you don't get a whole lot. Yeah. You get like, what is it? A dozen packages of 4 pieces a piece. So 48 pieces for $60.
Jeez.
Yeah. But whatever. You know what I mean? It would cost far more than the $180 for someone to come in and fix it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Growly. Thanks for coming back, buddy. My beer got warm. Okay. Do you think we should release that as a pot shot or just release 2 episodes on Tuesday?
Either way, it's. I mean, we can do it as a pot shot that comes out
on Tuesday. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's fine. It's going to be the holiday week, so it's people are already going to probably jam this shit up. If we put it out on Wednesday, some people aren't going to listen to Tuesdays until Wednesday anyways, because Tuesday's 4th of July.
Yeah, that's fine. Just so I know how to do. The Dark Mart pot shot. That was number 4, right?
That is a good question.
Well, Clown, video games, Mark Ramsey, number 4.
I am number 4.
Your mom is number 4. Should I record like an intro to that, or do you think I could just release it?
A quick intro might be okay, just to let people know it. We should make. Thanks again. We should make a quick intro for pot shots, anyways. But it's always kind of hard because sometimes
they're random,
different things. Yeah, there are so random. I would suggest doing it like the Joy of Painting guy. It's like this week on Crafting with Terror.
Crafting.
There are no dead hookers, just happy little accidents.
Can you do that again in a second? I'm saving it, and then yes. Chestix. So before, when I closed the other Hangout and opened the new one, I was like mid-sentence trying to close the window behind it, closed it, and I just like stopped.
Yeah.
And I was just like, motherfucker. And then I opened it. That's how that happened.
Straight when you have to pee.
Yeah,
hopefully you pee straight, but
we can blame it on I peed fine. Smelled like asparagus, and Frankie tried to drink it. That's the other thing. So okay, so real quick, I know that the last time we did a podcast, Frankie was here, but it's like night and day because now he's comfortable. But Alyssa and I were kind of like, I kind of miss having a puppy. You know, maybe we should get one. Like our 3 dogs are older, and it wasn't like one's gonna die, and then it was just kind of like I just want a big dog. Now we live out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I kind of want to get one. Got Frankie for like 2 days. I'm like, I don't want a puppy anymore.
No,
like, nope.
That's why every time parents who've been through it with like they're on their 3rd kid already, and their first kid's just about to graduate and leave home, someone should just come up and loan them a baby. God knows we have enough of them to spare in this fucking country, and just give them a baby for just 2 weeks, because that's when they're considering like, could we have another kid? Should we have another kid? Maybe we should have another kid. I would love to have another kid with you. No. I'm not ready to give this up yet. And then 3 days in, just one shit-filled diapers spilling out all over the place on the goddamn carpet, and your furniture that you can finally afford to get nice shit again because your kids have grown up enough not to throw up and draw on it, and you're just like, fuck this shit. First of all, take that kid, give it back. I don't care to who. It doesn't have to be the person who brought it to us. Just fucking spike it out the window at this point. And second of all, god damn it, we have earned our right to not have to deal with anybody else's crap. I'm done. Thank you very much. I will cut my own goddamn vasectomy right here at the kitchen. Right in the breakfast nook. I mean maybe, because children are beautiful.
Yeah, so the point at which I was like, yeah, fuck this, is like we got brand new carpet on Wednesday and Frankie shit on it on Thursday.
Oh yeah. We got a new comforter because ours has just been beat to shit and it had a big rip in it. But every once in a while Gidget likes to piss on it, as you do. And so we got a new comforter, and now Gidget's not allowed in the bedroom, and it hurts my feelings because Gidget likes to sleep with me. Dante has grown so accustomed to staying on the couch and on the ottoman in the living room. Like, plus he's 19, I carry him the litter box now, but he doesn't come and hang out in the bedroom. But Gidget does, and so it bums me out that she doesn't get to. So for the last 2 nights since the weekend started, I've been sleeping on the couch instead of in the room, and which is fine for Erin because she gets a starfish all she wants, and dude, she actually has to work.
I found that if I'm out of town for work and I have like a king size bed to myself, I still sleep on my side of the bed in a little strip.
Well, part of it for me now is that goddamn hose attached to my face. It doesn't do me any good to try to like stretch out because my head's going to be in that one corner anyways. But absolutely. When I had a waterbed, I had I think a queen size waterbed because I'm from the 70s. But like half of my bed was filled up with laundry. And the other portion of it was me. I've never gotten used to having a huge bed to myself.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
And I don't want to, because that's what love is. Spiking kids out the windows and having a huge bed that you only use up a third of if you're lucky. It's a metaphor, stupid.
I'm just typing out the thing for the dark chat release. All right, let's record an intro real quick for the pot shot, and then we'll start doing this episode so that my wife doesn't murder me. Okay. Welcome to this pot shot number 4. We're recording this after the actual thing that you're about to listen to, so we're in the future, yet you're about to be in our past. And
why do you always want to break out a compass?
Because what happens is I'm sober when we start. I'm drinking when we do it. When we record the intro, I'm kind of on a different planet. So the space-time continuum needs to be fucked with in my head.
If you want to listen to people who are probably much better at mathematics and making shit than Matt is. Enjoy this pod chat. We're going to bring you our friends from over at the Dark Mart, and we're going to talk a little bit about their website and affiliation with the website, which you can buy and sell very cool horror-related merchandise on.
And my hatred for the city of Chicago.
Well, that's a given. That
literally comes up every other week.
That's true. I feel like if you had a cartoon show, that's mostly what it would be about.
That's very true. So enjoy pot shot number 4 with Robert and Steven from the Dark Mart. All right. I want to know what love is. I want you to know. Thank you, Corey.
I was just admiring your voice. You have such the beautiful rolling vocals of a drummer.
Oh God, it's so funny. That's very true, and I never. Excuse me, I never like hide that for a second. But
what, Gregor? What?
Gregor's here.
Belching in the mic. I thought it was my other show for a second.
I obviously know I have a handful of friends that are in metal bands. So one of the guys that I know is a vocalist. He was the singer for a band called Hester Prynne that no longer exists, years and years and years ago. But and then he was in a band called American Ghouls from Kansas City. I'm not going to name names, but I know he doesn't listen to this, so we're good. I've never heard him like sing clean vocals, as we call it, instead of screaming. But he constantly releases videos of him singing, like singing on Instagram, and it is fucking terrible. It is so bad. And they're like, well, this saves. Glad Growly's here because he's our only friend. There's probably 3 or 4 just today of him like driving down the street singing. Yep, here we go. So, oh no, Instagram's just stupid now. Pretty much one a day. Yeah, see, it's not good. Oh, see, God damn.
Is that Nickelback? What is
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but here, because we're saving and really, no one listens to his old man anymore. Let me just pull up Spotify. You can hear what he sounds like in his fucking heyday. Cups in the way. There you go. Way better than whatever he was doing in his car.
I don't know. I feel like I could probably handle the car shit better than I could.
Are you serious?
I'm a gentle soul.
No, that's true.
45-year-old years. No, there's levels of singing, and it's kind of funny
the
because
video that I sent you.
You sent me.
I said that. Oh, sorry, the video that I played for you via the microphone off of my phone from Instagram. It was way different than like, you know, here, fine. I don't feel like I made my case.
You don't have to. It's
no,
like
I do.
This guy out, and I'm like, this is my new YouTube playlist.
That I never knew was all because I was blue, fucked up and lonely. But tragedy only showed me the truth.
Yeah, tell me I'm wrong.
That's the dangerous singer. There's singers who are bad that know they're bad and then just kind of like keep that shit to themselves. And it's cool if you sing in the privacy of your own home and everything, or in your own car. That's perfectly okay. But you know not to let that shit out. Then there are really good singers. Are the people that are out there and very popular and deserve to be, or not even necessarily popular, but certainly have a good voice. And every once in a while they break it out. You're like, holy shit, you got a really good voice. What the fuck happened there? And then there are people who are sort of good, but their mentality is that they're much better than they actually are. And those are the ones who are just torturous.
what we have on our hands.
You're nowhere near as good as you think you are, and so every time I have to listen to you, I just kind of want to stab you in the face with something.
Yep.
Not even necessarily something sharp, something kind of dull and jagged. It's not going to kill you right away, but make you understand what the fuck you did was wrong.
That was a much longer version of what I was getting at, but yeah.
No, I feel it. I feel it. Still better than his actual music.
What? I really like Testerprint.
Just teasing. I know.
I really like that band.
I know, because you probably would not be following this guy on Instagram if not.
He was my very, very dear friend James in Kansas. Him and this guy were roommates. So I like personally know him.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm following him on Instagram because we're kind of friends when I'm in town.
But there is the fact that I think on Instagram you have to choose to play the video with the sound. Like you have to.
So I played it one day because I was like, I wonder if it's any good. I keep almost saying his name, and within like 10 minutes, Brad, the guy who did all of our art, texts me and he's like, "Dude, did you see the video?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not good." He goes, "Yeah, I know. I don't like. I keep listening to new ones, thinking maybe it got better." Never ever the case.
I do enjoy sometimes just singing as awful as I can.
Just a funny story about that because so I mow the lawn for about an hour and 45 minutes. So I made what I call my mower jams playlist, are songs that I just fucking belt at the top of my lungs. I'm not a very good singer whatsoever. I'll admit it. But the other day, Alyssa heard me and she's like, I heard something and I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, that's why I got a sweet playlist.
Well, it's even better when you can't hear yourself. My friend Monty had a perfectly reasonable voice. We used to sing shit together in the back of my friend Paul's car. And again, we probably thought we were way better than we were. And I'm sure it sucked for everybody else that was in the vehicle with us. But Monty had a pretty decent voice. And one day he's walking out of my side porch and he's listening to my Walkman with Whitesnake's album on there. So he's singing Here I Go Again. And he gets to the Here I Go scream portion of it. And there's no way on a good day he was going to hit that well anyways. But certainly when he's just in his own head and can't hear what's coming out of his mouth and hitting the public world around in our neighborhood and how everybody else came rushing over with buckets thinking there must be a fire. I understand. I totally understand. Sometimes I sing something and I think, oh, I'm doing really well. And I turn the volume down real fast and I check to see how I'm doing. I'm not doing well.
No, not good at all whatsoever. There are certain things that I feel like I'm able to accomplish when singing, but then there are a lot of songs that I really like that are like in a range in which I should not touch.
Yeah.
But I still sing them anyways.
Yeah.
And I sing loud.
Oh man, when you get up in the head voice, you can just let that scream come out, and you're all false.
Did you see there's like a video on Facebook of a guy that essentially it's the same thing where he's listening to headphones, and it's like, oh, when your jam comes on, and then it like plays the song and he's mouthing it, and then it shows like him in public singing without the music. It is fucking hilarious.
I haven't seen it, but that sounds fun.
And then next time I see it, I'll have to. Ooh. Sorry, someone just sent me a... You want to start recording this?
This is not an expectation or anything, but do you ever actually watch the movies that we review, or do you just come in bone dry to them and just see what it feels like is spackle on your dick?
I think we're just his excuse to not work.
I know. I feel that. I mean,
not that I'm arguing. My goal in life is to not work.
Never. I love my job. I absolutely adore my job. I adore the people there. I would work my job. For free if I was rich. But there is certainly a part of me that says, but if I never had to work at all, like this is the last job that I want to retire from. But it would certainly appease me to not have to get up in the morning and go to a job. But then I would just slowly die. I wouldn't even say slowly. I would just die. I would fall apart very, very quickly because I have no reason to leave my house.
Yeah.
Period.
Earlier today I was like, God, we don't have any food, but I don't want to leave my house.
we're at that point too. I don't know what Erin ate for dinner last night, and I kind of don't care. I think she ate the last of the hot dogs, which is good because the buns are starting to get moldy for some real quick. Like this is the heat we're in right now. She says it's not humid, and I'm like, well, something's going fucking on because I've had a bag of bread, and now the hot dog buns have appeared in mold, and that never fucking happens. Yeah, so she ate the last of the hot dogs and got those out of there. I'm not sure what else she did because I got her ham. I got her all the stuff for her sandwiches, and she has it once, and then she lets the fucking bread go stale. Anyway, so there's not a lot to eat in the house right now, and I sure as fuck don't want to, in the middle of my 4 days off, get up and go to the goddamn store.
Do you have to work tomorrow?
No, I'm off tomorrow and Tuesday.
Did you take off, or were you given off?
That was how our days were. That was the holidays that they gave us this year. And certainly other people were off on Friday, or people are planning on taking the rest of the week off. And I used all my vacation time to go to Michigan recently. So, and it would be the same thing. I would have so much time to sit on my ass and do nothing that it really doesn't do me any good. And at work we have air conditioning, so I might as well just say fuck it and be there.
Oh, Growly's a scaredy cat, and he's only watched a few movies we've covered.
Which is perfectly okay, Growly.
Yeah. We love you for you.
I've had one friend. Well, no, Nate has said that he's backed up on our show because he hasn't had a chance to watch the movies yet.
I think he's the only person who watches them.
Well, no, because Maggie was doing that, at least for a while, where she especially with the things like when Gary was on here and the stuff he would recommend, and she would write in and tell us how fucked up those movies were.
I forgot about that. Good thing we're not recording this, and Maggie will never watch this video.
No, that's okay.
So she won't forget about the fact that I forgot about her because she stopped talking to me.
I think she's been kind of busy. I haven't seen a lot of her on social media at all.
Oh, it's fine.
I miss her. She's awesome.
She's super nice. Can we record this so I can go about my night? Because it's fucking 8:30.
We got a lot of stuff to do, so let's bust into it.
And I have to go to work tomorrow.
Bitch.
Well, I work tomorrow. I'm off Tuesday. I work Wednesday. I'm off Thursday. I'm working from home Friday and working from home Monday. So going to work Monday and Wednesday is not the worst.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 95 of the Podcast of Terror, a production of the Galactic Network. We're recording this after the pod shot that you may or may not have already listened to, so I'm already a couple oat sodas in. I am your host, Matt Stein. This is a production of the Galactic Network, and with me, as always, Corey, I fuck Scott. Hey, buddy.
Is that I'm fucking myself, or is that my middle name, or
no? Your middle name is I fuck because
Scott out there who's just getting it from Corey.
Nope. Your middle name is I fuck because this guy fucks.
Oh, it's not I is the proper noun.
No, you don't. I fuck Scott. You fuck.
Okay.
And your last name's Scott.
I personally fuck.
This guy fucks. Yeah, this guy fucks.
That really, I don't.
Yeah, you're married.
How's it going, Matt?
Married. For more on this podcast, including show notes, content information, subscription links, go to gncast.com/PoT. You can chat with us on our Slack channel during our shows at gncast.com/sign up. And while you're there, subscribe to our newsletter. This week we're going to be talking about a little film from 2015 called Gravy. It's not about the actual gravy. It's not about Thanksgiving. Real upset about both of those things. A little hungry.
It takes place on Devil's Night, actually.
I don't get why it's called Gravy.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it, but before we do our news, Corey, what you drinking?
I am popping the cap finally on this Mountain Dew that is probably now room temperature, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Mountain Dew in a glass bottle. That's what you got to have to enjoy life and not have children unless you want to get an operation.
So what is it?
It's Mountain Dew.
Oh, I didn't see when you held it up. Sorry, I was doing 12.
No, I was uncapping it.
Attaboy. Get that label out.
Yeah. Sponsors, welcome.
Yep. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, if you want to sponsor us, go for it. During the pod shot, I drank Founder's Dirty Bastard Scotch Ale. It's super fucking good. I had Founder's Curmudgeon, which is also very fucking good. And then a beer called Golden Ale Potosi from I don't know where. I threw the bottle away because I had to refill to do this. Right now I have Midnight Sun Treat. This is literally one of my favorite beers ever. It is an Imperial Chocolate Pumpkin Porter because I'm a white girl and an alcoholic.
Are you on your 4th beer right now?
I am. The first 3 were small bottles. This one, it's a big guy.
They weren't mini bottles. They were like shit that they give you on an airplane. They were actual bottles.
They were like 12-ounce bottles.
It's barely a sniff.
I was thirsty. Don't harsh my mellow.
I know.
Yeah, let's do some news, and then we'll talk about gravy. I don't know. I don't even know what we do here anymore. Deep Blue Sea is getting a sequel. I haven't seen the first one. I don't know the second one.
How have you not seen the first one?
Easily, I didn't watch it.
I'm not a giant shark movie fan. I had only in the last couple of years, probably maybe a year or two before we started doing this podcast, finally seen Jaws, and that was on a recommendation from Glenn Rubenstein, who we had on here recently when I used to do the What We're Watching Weekly show with him over on Spreecast. But Deep Blue Sea, man, it's one of those things that's kind of beloved, and I'm not exactly sure why, other than the fact that it's got Samuel L. Jackson and LL Cool J in it, and once you've got those two dudes in a movie, you can't really go too far wrong. But
that's true.
They are making a sequel to a movie that is 20 years old. I don't remember exactly when it came out. It certainly doesn't seem necessary. It certainly doesn't seem like this is the property that everybody's been waiting to come back to. But on the other hand, hasn't there been like 2 recent shark movies in the theaters? Like
in the theaters, I don't know, but they keep doing Sharknadoes, which the
Sharknadoes absolutely, but they have the one that's out right now with Mandy Moore, and they had one right before it with Blake Lively, where she was Yeah, dude, the shark movies are big at the moment because the Blake Lively one happened, and then the Mandy Moore one, what I don't even think was supposed to come out in the theater, was going to be a direct-to-video or maybe a made-for-TV thing, but then went to the theaters. I could be wrong on this, but it seemed like it got more of a push because of the Blake Lively movie right before it happening.
Weird.
Yeah, but yeah. Is Aaron Eckhart in Deep Blue Sea? Is that what I remember correctly?
Oh, I'm trying to find out what fucking shark movie Mandy Moore was in.
Well, Blake Lively's one was The Shallows. And
47 Meters Down?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's the only one that makes sense. Mandy Moore is in the Tangled sequel, which is fucking
Oh, yeah, because she was in the original. Well,
no, there's a TV series. Get fucked, Tangled.
The Tangled movie was actually pretty good. I don't know what you're crapping on it for.
I don't know, man. I kept thinking of Frozen.
Yeah, 47 meters down, 2 sisters vacationing in Mexico are trapped in a shark cage at the bottom of the ocean. With less than an hour of oxygen left, and great white sharks circling nearby, they must fight to survive.
Shouldn't have gotten in it in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why do you do that?
Because you're a dumb white girl.
White girl problems. I think great white stupid. But yeah, Deep Blue Sea. So I don't know, man. What I can't imagine what the pull is for this, but I do agree, at least on the surface, that Deep Blue Sea was a fun movie. It's I think it's kind of maybe a little bit like the Jurassic Park of shark movies. It's got the right kind of energy. But the ending was weird. I felt like the ending was maybe a little uncalled for. One of the characters that dies, I'm just like, really? It didn't seem like it made any sense at all.
Yeah.
But I'd probably see this. I don't know that I'd see this in the theater, but I would probably watch this. I feel like it would be one that I would check out just for what it is, as long as it's a legitimate sequel, which I don't know. Not enough is left from the first one to make it a legitimate sequel. just got to have LL. You just got to get LL in there. And at that point, you might as well do a sequel to Halloween H2O.
Ladies love Cool James.
God damn right they do.
Yeah, so it's going to be a video on demand, DVD, Blu-ray before airing on Sci-Fi because Sci-Fi gets all of the shit.
Yeah.
No release date. Who gives a fuck?
It's just for Shark Week. Everything comes out for Shark Week on Sci-Fi these days.
Shark Week is once a month in my house. More news that you didn't know that you needed, but you apparently need because we're about to talk about it. Elvira, the Mistress of the Dark, will guide players through the Call of the Booty, if it were up to me. Call of Duty's Attack of the Radioactive Thing DLC. This is DLC for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which is Call of Duty 8. So their 6th piece of shit that they put out. I don't even fuck you, Infinity Ward, Call of Duty, and Sledgehammer, and whoever made that. That game was so good, and then you turned it into a street hooker.
I was going to ask, have you played the Call of Duty games? It sounds like you have.
I did. I call it Modern Warfare was a phenomenal game. It was first one, like multiplayer video gaming was huge, and then I bought Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, and it was like trying crack. Like maybe it'll be as good as the first time, and it was never the same. You have fucking jetpacks, and you're getting jerked off in the back alley. That part's false. I lied about that. It's not. I don't know, man. It's not very good. But this makes me want to play it, which sucks because that's what they're fucking doing.
It sounds like a good sell. It says, along with Elvira's presence in the game, genre fans will certainly appreciate the classic sci-fi and horror theming, which will see the return of Willard Wyler, the enigmatic movie director villain portrayed with voice and likeness by Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman. Wyler has trapped the four protagonists inside an all-new horror film set in the 1950s and in the style of the creature feature films of that era. Players will fight a new array of zombie enemies across a ravaged beach town where a government science experiment has transformed the residents into flesh-devouring zombies and introduced a new biological menace into the city. So you get Paul Rubens, and you've got Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Cassandra Peterson, who is one of the introductions to my stepfather that I can recall was, I didn't know a lot about the guy at that point in time, but I knew that he was really into Elvira, and he had the Elvira movie on VHS, and they watched a lot. And then it's actually a really fun movie, the first one. I don't know if he had the sequel or not. She's great. She's amazing, and she's another one of those. I know Hollywood always like to say that their actors get older and they get better looking, and their actresses get older and they, stop getting parts in films and stuff, which sucks. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that that's true, though. That seems, unfortunately, to be the case. But she is one of those women who seems to get more beautiful as she ages, and I think she's very pretty, not as Elvira, but certainly as Elvira, there's something magical about her, and she's got one of those personalities that just kind of rings out, and has brought so much attention to the horror films in general. Maybe for different reasons, but it all kind of equals out the same thing because she's a true fan.
10 out of 10 would bang Elvira.
I would just like to meet her. I think she that's the other thing too, is that a lot of people who've met her at shows and stuff, she seems to be really sweet and wonderful.
The fun fact, the first guy that tattooed me has a Elvira tattooed on his forearm.
She's iconic. She is a total icon.
Yeah. That dude is such a huge fan of like old school horror movies that his nickname was Von Schlitzie. Yep.
That's
also loves Schlitz beer.
Man. Yeah,
Chris is one of the fucking coolest people I've ever met in my entire life. If I could get him to talk on a podcast, I would have him on here, but he's super quiet in person.
Strangely, so am I.
What?
Yeah.
I literally, what you get is what you get.
Yeah,
I talk as much in here as I did when we hung out that one time.
And you drink twice as much.
That's because I'm sitting here. If fucking Bubba Gump brought me more beers, I would have more beer at Bubba Gump's. I blame Travis.
So Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, you get to have her lead you through the new Call of Duty expansion pack, which sounds like I don't know anything about the Call of Duty games, but that sounds like a pretty cool DLC to have.
No, it sounds super cool, but unfortunately, it's just shit. Anyways,
you don't like the actual game itself, so the DLC for it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, the game's gotten pretty bad. Fucking kids. The next story we have the coming from our friends over at Her Geek Life. The Hellboy Rise of the Blood Queen reboot will embrace the blood and practical effects, which I know nothing about the Hellboy comic books or any of its origin, but I could see it being like super gruesome and bloody.
Yeah, the Hellboy comics are dark. They do certainly they seem a little bit more classic monstery to me as well, but it is a horror themed comic book with a somewhat superheroic character in the form of Hellboy in it. And then when you include the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Development, the BPRD, with Abe Sapien and Liz and the different power sets they have and everything, it becomes kind of more of a superhero spy book, but the elements of the stories themselves are very much in the horror genre. And the films with Ron Perlman were mainstream, as they should have been, and certainly the expectations from superhero movies or comic book movies at the time that those came out kind of demanded that they be that way to get any kind of success. And I wish they would have been bigger successes. I think they're one of those things that do much better in hindsight. But now in the era of Deadpool being one of the most successful films, the most successful R-rated film of all time, and being based off of comic book properties, gives it the opportunity to say, we're going to get back to the basics with the new Hellboy in a way that they weren't able to do before. So we talked a little bit about the fact that Perlman and Del Toro were not coming back for the new film, but they had already kind of determined that anyways, they weren't going to come back and do a third one. So when the new movies got announced with a different creative control with Neil Marshall from Dog Soldiers and Game of Thrones and David Harbour from Stranger Things, David taking on the role, people were disappointed, but we kind of should have already adjusted to the disappointment at that point already. Now it says that the films are going to be looked at in a different makeup than what they were before. We've been granted permission to do it R-rated, which for me is like taking the cuffs off. Marshall explained. It's like, okay, so we can now just make the movie we want to make. It's not like I'm going to force it to be R-rated, but if it happens to come out that way, just because of its own sensibilities, then fine, and nobody's going to stop us. So that's the main difference. And I'm sure, obviously, the success of things like Deadpool and Logan have not hurt that cause. But also, when you go back to the original material, it's kind of bloody, so I'm going to embrace that. And I don't know. I don't look at Del Toro's stuff and think of it as digital effects or practical effects. I just think that his monster movie aesthetic is terrific and always looks great on the screen. But I certainly appreciate practical effects more in modern day movies. It seems that there's a fine line between practical for the sake of practical and CGI for the sake of CGI. But when they're utilized together in the correct way, I think they look really excellent. And so I like to see people who do practical effects get kind of used more. But that's also not to take away the people who do CGI, as long as it's done well. And this sounds like it's going to embrace the two, but lean more towards the practical, which is usually, for me, aesthetically what I like more.
Yeah, I going back to what you said about the films not being PG-13 is it seems like ever since Deadpool came out, like all of these movies are like, it's okay to be rated R. It always was. It's just I think they were shooting for a PG-13 to try and entice the masses instead of actually appeal to the the crowd that they should be appealing to.
Yeah, and I don't know, the kids are really, certainly when you have your Frozen come out or Despicable Me or whatever, kids, like young kids, run to the theaters and their parents take them there, and they're usually also in the summertime, so it's like, let's drop them off someplace where we can get some air conditioning and get them out of our hair for a little bit or whatever. But I don't know that the PG-13 sect is really quite as important anymore, because kids are watching stuff streaming more than anything, and I don't see them going to the theaters as much. I think it happens, but I think that as many people go to see R-rated movies as they do anything else now, whereas when I was a kid, maybe that was a different case. Although when I was a kid, we also used to just buy the tickets to whichever movie we felt like we had to get in to watch what movie we wanted to. Or sometimes they just didn't give a shit. Okay, It's rated R. You're 14? Who gives a fuck, man? I make $5 an hour if I'm happy. Just do what you're going to do. So, yeah,
the times
at the end of the day, the stuff is going to hit the theater for a couple of months, but then it's going to live on in Netflix and everywhere else. And that's where everybody's going to watch it who wants to see it, because there are no lockups for that. So just make the best movie that you can and do it for the right story and for the right audience, and then the audience will find you.
Yep. The new Hellboy starts filming late fall of this year, or excuse me, fall of this year with a late 2018 release. I don't know. I read it 3 minutes ago and I forgot. Fucking deal with it.
It sounds right. I believe in you, Matt.
It's coming out late 2018. I remember that part. The last news story we have, Melanie Linsky. Okay, all right. Takes female lead in Hulu's Castle Rock. The name Castle Rock rings a bell, but I don't know what. I know nothing about it.
Castle Rock is the town that a lot of Stephen King stories take place in, like Cujo and I can't remember them all, but they all kind of cross over. The Dark Half, It, Needful Things are all in the place of Castle Rock. So Castle Rock is a TV series that is original to Hulu, that's going to be on their streaming service, that is going to focus in that town. Now, I don't know how much is going to have crossover with the characters that already have existed, but Hulu's already done an 11/22/63 series based on King's work. So they have a good relationship with King on his other stuff. So Melanie Linsky, are you familiar with her at all?
By name, no. Let me look.
She is from New Zealand. She was in Heavenly Creatures, which is an early work of Peter Jackson. It had her and Kate Winslet. But this is Pete Jackson at the time that he was doing the Meet the Feebles and doing Dead Alive and Bad Taste and that sort of stuff. So this is early Peter Jackson. Heavenly Creatures was 1994, so it's still before he had gotten into the mode of doing Hobbits, everything. And she was in The Frighteners briefly. She's shown up in some of his stuff. She played Charlie's on again, off again psycho stalker girlfriend on 2.5 Men. She's great. She's certainly one of my favorite actresses, and I think is going to bring a certain amount of respect for me for this role. She was also in the Stephen King miniseries Rose Red several years ago on ABC. Also in this, which I think is just as interesting, if not more, Jane Levy, who was in Don't Breathe recently and was in the remake of The Evil Dead, and Sissy Spacek, who played Carrie, is going to be in this. So right off the bat, those are three actresses that I am a fan of. Some cases like Spacek for a long time. I remember being a little kid and seeing Coal Miner's Daughter with her and thinking that she was so great in that, but she's just done an enormous body of work since then that's all been really good stuff. This adds a level to this that I don't know that I was expecting from what sounds like what could have been a standard sci-fi television show. now it seems a little bit more intriguing. So the characters are all going to mix it up in this town. I don't know. We've talked about Stephen King so much, but I don't remember if you've actually read much of his stuff or if you're a fan of it.
I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. My mom read Stephen King as I was growing up, so I'm sure is the majority of her life. So Stephen King has always been something that has been in part of my life, but I'm much more of a visual person. So I tried I tried listening to The Dark Tower because the movie's coming out, and if a book on tape is on, I tend to space out. But with that being said, like Langoliers, Tommyknockers, The Stand, I love all of those movies.
Yeah, and those are all the made for TV movies. Mm-hmm. Those are all versions that were made for the. I wouldn't mind at some point watching, because I remember it from being a kid and it's scaring the shit out of me. I wouldn't mind us reviewing Salem's Lot at some point.
Okay. We need a movie for next week, so do you want to do that one?
We'll see. But that's definitely one that, like, I remember only a specific scene from that, and it just, oh man, that just drove me crazy as a kid. I'm like, I had nightmares for weeks after that part. But yeah, I same thing. I've seen more Stephen King films than anything else. Yep. I've been reading his book, and the only couple of books that I've read, I've tried to get through the first Dark Tower book right when I moved to California and didn't make it all the way, but that was as much circumstances of my life as the book itself. I've read Eyes of the Dragon and then his book on writing, which is terrible representation for the rest of Stephen King as I understand it. So I wouldn't mind getting into more of his stuff, but this is an interesting way to do it, because one of the things about Stephen King that is so compelling to me is the connected universe stuff. Is the concept of these characters having some interaction, which is kind of what the Dark Tower is. It's these characters having a shared world. That's all completely compelling, and I'd like to see how that works out. And this is kind of a taste of that, in a way that I guess the Dark Tower is going to be in the movie as well, since we've seen in the clips things of them mentioning Pennywise. And I think they mentioned something about either The Shining in that or Cujo in that all kind of wound up.
We have a new guest.
Just random dog showed up?
Yeah, my dog, Officer O.T. Booger. That's his legal name, too. That's his legal name.
We have it on his little birth certificate.
It is. Well, his original name was Oliver, and the people that... decided they didn't want him anymore, gave him to us. We called him Officer Ollie to Booger. And just watch him nest real quick. If you're watching the video, if you're listening to this is boring as fuck.
But if you're listening to this, you should go to our YouTube and take a look at the video
and watch. Yeah,
he is adorable.
I fucking love that dog. I got him tattooed on me. But yeah, his name is Officer O.T. Booger because we called him Ollie to Booger. Yeah, so just watch him nest real quick.
Did he figure out how to open the door himself, or
no? Alyssa let him in. I just saw her arm pop open, and I'm like, "Which dog is on its way in?" She sent me a couple pictures. There were dogs sitting outside the door, sleeping, waiting.
Oh,
one of them waiting for me, the other just waiting for the dog bed. Either way, so Castle Rock.
Yeah,
when does it come out? Does it come out ever? Has it already come out?
No, it has not come out. They've just started announcing the cast and stuff for it, so I don't even know that it's actually started filming yet.
Well, when I looked at Melanie's IMDb, I saw like 6 episodes listed, so there must be a little more to this. Not that I'm. Let me go back there real quick. I'm almost there.
Do you subscribe to Hulu?
No, I do not.
I haven't, but this might be the thing that gets me to do it. I always say that. It's like, what's the show that's going to get me to start a subscription to this service? What's the one that's going to get me to sign up for Amazon Prime? This might be it for me.
I have Amazon Prime for the shipping, but it's listed as 2018 on IMDb, and she's listed as through the first 10 episodes. There's a character named Molly Strand. So we'll see. But yeah, my guess is 2018 at some point. Yeah, before we get into Gravy, unless you had more to say, and I cut you off like a dick. No,
okay.
Just shake your head like a beautiful little hair marble you are. Before we get into the discussion of our movie Gravy, which may not be much for discussion because beer, I want to talk a little bit about a thing. Let me take a sip first. I do want to thank a little fella named Brian Jensen, who recently became a supporter of the Galactic Network. If you are interested in becoming a supporter, go ahead and go to gncast.com/support. That will link you to our Patreon page. You can go ahead and there's options. I don't know what they are right now because I don't have it up in front of me in beer. But our friend Growly Bear, who we talk about literally every week, a fucking sweetheart. The man ignores work to listen to us. Man after my own heart. He's also a supporter. You can be right up there with the likes of Growly and our friend Brian here. You can support us. It keeps the show free for you. A little upset Corey hasn't cut me off yet, but
I'm just letting you milk this as far as you want to go with it.
I'm milking the Patreon teats. But yeah, basically you help us offset the cost of hosting these podcasts, putting them out, yada yada yada. Shaboopy. Shaboom shaboom. All right, this movie film Gravy.
So
I expected something about gravy.
Yeah, I don't. It's not a Gravy. It's not the sequel to Ghost Ship. So it's not a Gravy boat. But it is about sweet eating of humans.
That was fucking weird. I read nothing about this movie, and I'm like, oh, weird. They're gonna start eating people. They didn't even use gravy. They didn't murder people with gravy.
I'm sure as the night went on, the hardest part is you have to start with a roux. You have to mix things together. You got to use the
difficult to make gravy, children.
But it's a time consuming thing, and it seemed like they were on a timeline for the couple of meals that we did see. I have had this movie on my DVR. I took a picture of it since August of last year. I've been waiting for us to get to this, and I've been looking forward to watching the movie since before that. Now, first things first, this is a movie that was written and directed by James Roday. I forget the other person who wrote it with him, but James is from the TV show Psych, which I am a huge fan of. Psych is coming back with a made-for-TV movie in the next year or so. They just recently announced it. So James Roday and Dule Hill and all of the gang, Maggie Lawson, Timothy Omundson, I think Corbin Burnson, and all of them are coming back to do this. I love Psych. I watch the reruns. They're on at like midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning, and I should sleep more than I do, and I don't. But I watched them all when it was on, just like Monk. And I keep waiting for Monk to have a TV movie as well, because that's something I would love to have come back. So I knew that this was out, and I knew that James and some people who were associated with the show, Michael Weston, has appeared on the show a couple of times. Michael Weston is one of those guys that you'll see him and you go, oh, yeah, that's Charlie Day from Always Sunny. No, it's not. But you've seen him in so many things.
Yes.
I knew you were going to say it.
And it's not that I knew it wasn't Charlie Day. But the problem was he was such a Charlie Day ripoff.
But he's not exactly. But he was certainly playing a cartoonish character in this that was akin to Charlie on Always Sunny, which is not a bad character to emulate because that guy.
No, I love Sunny and I love Charlie.
Yeah,
it's just that's the first thing I thought of. There was like a solid 20 minutes where I was like, "Is that Charlie Day? Is that not Charlie Day?"
Jimmy Simpson is also in this, and he's been on Psych a few times. And Jimmy just recently was on Westworld on HBO, but you'll recognize him also from Always Sunny because he is one of the family that.
I think he's Cricket.
No, he's not Cricket. He's one of the brothers, the family that hates Charlie and always comes to the bar and tortures him. And they walk around in the bathrobes and their underwear. And so it's almost like they should have had the other guy from the Poyles.
The McPoyle family, yes.
McPoyles, yeah. So Jimmy's a great comedic actor. Jimmy, who actually used to be married to Melanie Linsky. I didn't realize that they had divorced recently, but that means she's open for me. And who else? Gabourey Sidibe. I could never pronounce her name. You would recognize her from Precious. Sarah Silverman is in this. Lily Cole, Paul Rodriguez, aka Pablo, Gabriel Luna. A lot of great people in this movie, and it is definitely, if you are a fan of the show Psych, and you want to see it amped up into a R-rated film with cannibalism and people getting tortured and everything in the middle of the night on the eve of Halloween, this is the movie for you.
Yeah, those are all the things that you're looking for in a movie. That's certainly where you should go look.
So, kind of also throwback to Psych, but I want to point this out because one of the things that I was taking with was as I'm watching this is the soundtrack. The music kind of leads you along. It starts out at the very beginning with Michael Wesson's character Anson going into a party store / gas station store at night, and they're playing "Sowing the Seeds of Love" by Tears for Fears, and he's singing along. And Tears for Fears, again, one of the guys who used to show up on Psych, and they kept bringing him out in in-jokes, so I thought it was cool that they used his music for this. But the music in this kind of really led you around. Some of the songs were very cutesy, kiddish in horrific ways and the way they were used. But the soundtrack wasn't quite up there with like a Guardians of the Galaxy by James Gunn, but it felt very similar. And the music felt important towards the scenes it was used in. It wasn't just background stuff. And it wasn't something as blatant as what they did with Suicide Squad or as cheap to use the effect. But I felt like everything as I'm going along and the music, whatever song starts playing, I'm like, oh shit, that's a great choice. And it made the scenes feel a little bit more evocative of what they were already doing.
Yeah.
So did you have some problems with this?
Not really. I didn't know what
you didn't know what was going to happen.
Nope. I had no idea what the concept of the movie was, and no idea what the plot was, the motivation. So I really can't complain about anything because I didn't know what I was going into it. I didn't know what it was going into it.
Yep.
So there was nothing to really be let down about. I assumed gravy. I guess the eating
really looking for gravy, just like you're always looking for your turkey chili recipe on Weird World Weekly.
Turkey chilies. But the thing is
the movie.
Yeah, it made sense that they ate them, but going into it, I didn't know what it was. So it was like when he was digging through the ice cream chest and he was getting ice cream at the gas station, I expected something to happen in terms of plot gravy, and that didn't happen. So if my biggest complaint about this movie is that the name doesn't fit the plot, that's okay.
Yeah, I liken this, probably both the name and the style of the movie itself, to the movie Feast that we watched last year, because it's just so over the top and crazy, and it's everybody trapped in this one room, which is in this case a restaurant. In Feast they were all trapped in a bar.
Yep.
But Feast was a more sci-fi version because it had to do with alien creatures and stuff that were coming around and trying to eat everybody. This is being trapped by what is a couple of brothers and one of the brothers' girlfriends who they had picked up the year before. Every year on the eve of Halloween, which for me, being from Detroit, it's called Devil's Night, they go and they lock themselves into a place with a bunch of people that are there. They weld up the door so that no one can get in or out. And they spend the night going through games and stuff to determine what order they're going to kill and eat each of the people in. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the film is just going through the sequences and seeing that happen and getting an understanding of the characters who have instigated this and the characters who are the victims in this case. And we very early on dispatch of the would-be hero who is the manager of the restaurant, probably the owner, because all of these people around him are his friends or his family and are loyal to him. And Jimmy Simpson, as Steph, basically says, yeah, we can't really let you do that because that's going to ruin it for us. We have to kill this linchpin for everybody else so that we can kind of manipulate them more and get them over to how we want things to go. So
it was very odd.
It was odd, but it was very comedic. There's a loyalty between the two killers, between the brothers, Steph and Anson, and there's certainly a loyalty that Steph has to his girlfriend Mimi, Lily Cole's character. We find out at some point in the film, we find out that Lily Cole was one of the would-be victims from the year before, and she basically just turns her back to everybody getting killed, and she's like, "This is boring. You know, if you're gonna kill them, do it the right way," or "I hated that bitch," or whatever. And she speaks in a British accent, and so Steph is already really into her, and she seems much more sadistic. But what it is it turns out, we find out later on, and here's where spoilers start coming in, is that she did it to be able to survive, but she also seems kind of into it. Like it was a matter of, I have to do this to be able to live through this, but she fakes the English accent, so we find out that she's actually American.
Yeah, that was it. In reality, she is English.
She is.
So,
but she does a pretty good American accent when
I agree, but that blew my mind when I was like, "Wow, her fake accent was real, and her real accent is fake." It's like,
I also don't know if it was a real hair color.
It is. She's a super duper redhead.
Yeah,
apparently tall as fuck too. I googled that.
Yeah. So, so the guys come in, they weld up the doors, they start holding everybody hostage. There is one guy, I think it's Bert, who starts out the night drunk. He had proposed to his girlfriend in the bar, and she refused him and said she was interested in this girl in a emo cover band. I think she was in a cover band for Susie and the Banshees. And she's like, "I'm leaving you for her." And so the guy's just been sitting at the bar getting drunk, and he's just totally down on his luck and keeps talking to her image in different places. And so he avoids getting captured at the beginning, but he's still in the bar with everybody else because he falls on his way out of the bathroom, trips, and knocks himself out. And
it happens to the best of us.
Seems to for him. It is a scene after scene of waiting for people to die, and along with the group deciding which people are going to die. What I thought was interesting, and I don't know, because we don't know what their past was, is they get the cook, the chef, a French guy named Yannick, to prepare the different people. Like once they killed the boss of the place, Chewie, they have him make essentially the appetizer for the main course as the meals are supposed to go on. And they say they basically get called down, and it's like they try to say, "Oh, we're going to let you live if you do these things, and we're going to determine all this stuff." And then they kind of all realize, yeah, but why would you weld the door shut if you're just going to rob us? You know, yep. Why would you make it so that you can't get out and we can't get out if your whole object is to take the money and leave as quickly as possible? And they're like, okay, you're right. We're not here to rob you. We're here to eat all of you. And so no one's really going to live. Although they still make promises here and there of like, if you do this right, you may live through the night. And they all kind of get the same reckoning of, no, you're not going to ever release us. Mm-hmm. So they work in their own ways to fight back. But the chef Yannick does these brilliant recipes because he's a very, very good chef. But we find out over time that he has a dark past. And so that's why he's working in this kind of not shithole, but not technically really fantastic Mexican restaurant as the chef there. He's able to work far below his station because of necessity, because he did something fucked up where he poisoned somebody with blowfish.
Which comes into play later.
which comes into play later.
Or he poisons the McPoyle with basil.
Yeah. And that's the other part of this, is that you're waiting to see them fight back. You're waiting to see them kind of get released. I didn't understand exactly why they let one of them free, which is what they did. It wasn't Cricket. It must have been not Bethany. Oh, it was Carrie. They let Carrie free because she won the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon competition, which is one of the convenience to see who lives. And they're like, yeah, you'll be able to get up and stretch your legs and stuff like that. But she then uses her freedom to kind of seduce Anson.
Yep.
To basically like put herself in the same situation that Mimi's character was the year before. Is like, I'll be able to do this to get my way out of this. But with that, she works in tandem with Yannick the chef to basically poison Steph with the basil. The chef uses a weird code, and then they keep referencing like, oh, that's the easiest thing. Anybody should be able to spot this code. But it's done in such a weird roundabout way. We get to see a building relationship between Cricket, who is the sort of queen bitch character at the beginning, the way that she's talking to her friend on the phone. They're all supposed to go to some college party, and she's the basic mean girl, between her character and Hector, Gabriel Luna's character, who is the bad boy, has a prison record, is working with his uncle. His uncle has saved him from going back to jail, essentially, by giving him a job there. And as they're trying to escape, it kind of builds up. It was like, maybe they'll get together. Maybe there are final two. There's not a final two in this.
Nope. None whatsoever.
It definitely takes it like nobody comes out of this unscathed.
No.
And many don't make it out alive.
Mm-mm.
And that's the thing, is that this kind of movie, I find it very funny, but it is a lot of torture. The freakiest scene to me was not even any of the scenes with blood. It's that first moment when they kind of reveal what they're going to do, when they say, we're going to eat all of you. And then they all get into people's faces. Like, oh, you think that we're just going to let you go or whatever. And then Steph starts sticking his tongue all over Cricket's face.
That was fucking weird.
And Mimi is up in someone else's face, and Anson has got his nose right up to the eyeball of Carrie. Like, it was so intense and so uncomfortable, and you're just watching like, yeah, how far is this really going to go? And it's very violating, and it certainly makes them feel demeaned. It makes them feel like they have no control, which realistically they don't. And that's this whole situation, but it gives it a weight that I don't think someone just kind of announcing to the room can do. Like, yeah, you feel for them, you feel fear for them, but until you see that kind of demonstration, and that demonstration was so intense in a way that is, again, it's not a rape scene, it's not a torture scene, it's not a Saw torture porn scene, but it does give you that same effect as any of those things would. That made me uncomfortable. And then some of the individual deaths made me a little uncomfortable. And certainly there are characters that I rooted for that you shouldn't root for anybody, because, again, nobody makes it out either alive or completely okay. But you kind of, at a point or another, you think, oh, but this character's so cool. And that character goes. And you just feel like, shit. So it's not a feel-good movie, but it is a really funny movie.
Right.
And everything that they did had a level of humor to it that makes it a little bit more palatable for me. And I know that these are the kind of movies that I tend to pick out. I'm the one who recommended Feast the first time. I certainly lean towards stuff that's got a bit of comedy to it. And it's my turn to choose.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Just wait till it's my turn to choose, you son of a bitch.
I think it is, actually.
It is, actually. But with that being said, anything else you want to say, or should we go to the Fap Cave?
Yeah, unless we just went and broke down every scene, every murder in this, and I don't want to do that. If you haven't seen Gravy yet,
don't Do it.
I would say check it out. I would say look at it for yourself, see how you feel about it, give us some feedback on it. We'd like to hear it. And I know this was playing on cable last year. It might still be available on one of the movie channels now. It doesn't seem like it's that hard to find, and it seems like a nice little discovery when you get the chance to actually see it. If you just pass it up because the title was misleading, like it was for Matt, next time it's on, check it out.
Yep. Corey, let's go to the Fap Cave. All right.
When we go to the Fap Cave, do we ever take the Fatmobile?
We could. It's going to be weird, though, because it's a one-seater with the big black dildo in the middle.
Yeah. That's not a gear shift.
That's not a gear shift. That's my penis. Maybe it's a gear shift. I don't even know. If you are unfamiliar with the FAP scale, eventually when I get back to where I'm going, it is the three categories, or the three tiered scale. Jesus Christ. The three-tiered scale of masturbatorial awesomeness. We'll start off with the feature. How was the story of the movie Gravy? How was the acting? A 0 to 5 scale. Corey as the guest that we don't have. So it's you.
It's just me. I thought this was very interesting. I thought it was very well done. I like the little kooky moments where Bert was talking to his girlfriend in his head, or having images of her in like a comic booky thought bubble. I like when they did the flashback to when they met Mimi, them showing it on a black and white projector in a smaller screen within the big screen of like you're watching an old home movie or a classic film. I like those little touches because it gave it an air of silliness, but also care. Everything kind of stood apart onto its own. And it, again, originality, maybe not. It's not like this is a story that hasn't ever been told before, the type of story, at least it is. But it did good things with it. And it certainly treated the characters with respect, even ones that weren't there for very long, that weren't meant to be around very long. So I'm going to give it a 4.
I give it a 3. Unless
I love how you never say why. I go through this whole long-winded process of like, here's why I'm rating it this way, and here's what I thought, and this is.
I don't have to explain myself.
You absolutely don't. I'm just glad that you're keeping your pants on.
Bitch. I have to pee real bad right now.
So I'm just
yeah. That's what's the next? The attention, the rewatchability.
The thing you don't have at all.
How does the movie?
You made the scoring system.
I know, that's a fucking problem. Does this movie earn a place on your shelf? Would you recommend it to your friends?
After a year on my DVR, I didn't directly delete it after I watched it because I want my wife to see it. First of all, I don't know if she's ever sat down to see it. And yeah, I think it does. I think that I would, as uncomfortable as it is, it's so funny, and the dialogue really sticks out for me. The character work and dialogue easily makes it something that I would watch again, and I would highly recommend it. So I'm going to go 4 again for that.
I give it a 2. I enjoyed it. I don't know how much I will run to go ahead and rewatch this movie. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad in any way, but there wasn't so much of it being memorable that I'm just going to go ahead and like run back to watch it.
Now, you were asking earlier if there was a sequel planned.
Simply because the end shows what's her nuts,
Carrie
taking pictures of what's his cock.
And Bethany.
Yep. So that's really it. I was just curious because it leaves it very open ended. If there is a second one, I would watch it. Mostly because Corey will probably make me watch it.
I mean, we haven't watched Feast 2 or 3 yet, but
yeah,
that's something.
We also haven't watched Critters 2 through 4.
No, and we need to.
Yep.
At least Critters 2.
God damn it, Corey, I have to pee. The last category we have is Panic. The effects, were you surprised? Were you kept on the edge of your seat?
Me?
Yeah, you. Who the fuck else?
I'm just torturing you now. The effects were pretty good, and there was certain things that I was not expecting, like when they showed the character Winketta after she was dispatched, and they showed her in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
That was a level I was not expecting out of this film. Like all the rest of it is mostly people getting chopped up, bit, eaten a little bit at a time, that kind of stuff. That was all okay. That one was surprising. For the most part, the effects were at a level of what this film seemed to be at itself. They were neither fantastic nor poor. So right in line, I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, the same. I mean, it was, you got what you got. I mean, they didn't, like when Hector was held up into the fan, you didn't see anything other than below the chest and blood spraying. So a lot of blood spraying, but that's really about it. So that's
I did like the end credits when they showed everybody dead on the menu.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So I give it a 3 as well. Yeah, you can contact us by leaving us a voicemail at 805-328-3966. You can email us at pot@gncast.com. You can leave us a message on the website. You can follow the show at Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Podcast Terror, and you subscribe.
You can subscribe to the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your favorite podcatchers, and leave us feedback at whichever one you like. Check back on Matt's bladder, see how that's doing.
Oh,
also, certain options and links can be found at gncast.com/subscribe. And finally, you can join our Facebook group under Galactic Network. Matt, where can people find you besides the potty?
The bathroom. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Untapped, the beer app, at Matt the Lifeguard.
And you can find the stuff that I help publish at donutscomics.com.
Terrific. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Podcast of Terror. We'll talk to you guys next week. I'm not going to stop YouTube because
no, just run.
You may want to
just
continue.
go. Just go, man.
Oh, this is going to hurt to stand up.
Yeah. Check and see how absorbent that dog in the room is. That was fun in its own way. It was a little chilly. Oh, chilly. That was another thing. This movie kind of made me hungry. I was watching it and making breakfast. It's absolutely not true. I freak out with stuff like this. I did make breakfast while I was watching it, but I did take some time out from certain things and like make sure that my food didn't look too similar to what was up on screen. Oh, man. And we may have to do a Word World Weekly. Dogs are multiplying in Matt's room. They're all super cute, though. Just want to say hi. Just want to cuddle you guys. You're all so cute.
All right. Let's try and do this without fucking Frankie getting out of control.
So many dogs.
All right. So I walk out and Frankie,
he loves you. It's
so
adorable.
I know. There's I'll forward it to you. Alyssa sent me a picture of Frankie like sleeping outside of the door while I was in here. I know, and I sent it to Nate, and he's like, "I'm really jealous." I'm like, "Dude, I'm really happy to have your dog, but I'm really happy for you to take him back." What do you want to do next week?
That is a question. Carly Bear, do you have a recommendation? Even though you don't watch horror movies? We do have our list.
Hi, Fred. Oh, I don't even know what's on the list. Weird World Weekly's topic is haunted cemeteries.
Yeah.
So I grabbed one in Wisconsin that we used to try and go to when I was in high school.
Okay.
just because I have some sort of connection to it. God damn it, Frankie. He's a slippery little bastard. He just fell right out of my lap. Yeah, he's a puppy. He'll bounce back. All right.
Take the Babadook off.
Yeah, that's a good call. We could do Southbound if you want. Otherwise, Shark Exorcist. That movie, Christie.
I have no idea what Christie is.
Me neither.
The only thing about Southbound is I don't know much about it, but I think it's an anthology.
Okay.
And I just want to let you know. Yeah, 5 interlocking tales of terror follow the fates of a group of weird travelers who confront their worst nightmares. What the shit just happened there?
Which is what? You all right?
My window shade just jumped.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd be fine
a little bit. Maybe pooped.
It happens. I'd be fine doing it.
Yeah, it's another one that it's from 2015. It's I'm sure it's not well known. Probably very middle of the road.
So have you about a desert highway? Two men run from their past. Yeah, there's only one name. Sorry, checking my downloady business. Come on, you fuck. Do you want to do Southbound? That's fine with me.
Sure.
Cool.
I guess it's not on Netflix anymore. That's too bad.
Download it if you just want to watch it off my computer. Now that I have my computer plugged in, it shouldn't be a huge problem. Because you watch shit when I'm long asleep.
Sometimes.
Most of the time. Frankie, don't piss him off. All right, there you go, buddy. Yeah, it appears, and yeah, it's downloading, so I should have one. Yeah, let's just do Southbound.
Okay.
Do you have a link for it already, by chance? If not, I should be able to grab one. But you're far better at it than I am.
The Amazon link?
Yeah.
I'll find it real fast.
I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you.
I've got it up. I just.
Oh, it's Southbound's included with Amazon Prime. So if you want my Amazon login to watch it.
No, it's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm super worried.
Oh, I'm sure. No. I always told you I didn't want you to have to pay to watch movies for this.
It's okay.
I know, but fuck you and your couch.
Link is it? I put it up.
Donkey smell. All right. 3 Geek Cinema Society. Heads. Cool. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi there. This is Brett Stewart from Geek Cinema Society. Are you a film lover? Do you consider yourself a connoisseur of the silver screen? Well, Geek Cinema Society is a weekly roundtable program where each episode we touch on a film considered pivotal to geek culture. From Blade Runner to The Goonies to Mad Max, we dig into it all. Plus, our guest each week hasn't seen that week's film until the episode. Join me and my co-hosts, Nicole Davis and David Luzader, on a spectacularly fun journey that hits your podcast feed every Sunday. Available on Blazing Caribou Studios.
Next week on the podcast of terror.
Next week, Corey and I will be talking about a little film called Southbound. I think it's a film. It was Corey's idea. I've never actually seen it, which I'm sure is a huge
I haven't
shock.
seen it either, so it'll be new to both of us. But it's an anthology movie where the horror tales intersect with each other.
You know how much I love horror's tales.
I know you just like to brush them against you, cuddle them. I don't know. I really don't know.
Sometimes I
don't know you at all, Matt. Who are you?
I'm a man beast. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Podcast of Terror. We will talk to you guys next week.
Stay scared, everybody.
All right. I didn't know where that was headed. I got a little scared.
It's okay. Do we have to record a new ad?
Fuck. Yes, but it's been 3 hours since I've been in here, and I'm pretty sure I have an upset wife.
No, I bet you do.
Growly, are you still there? Now we'll wait 45 seconds for the lapse.
Pull away from his desk or something because I didn't.
I mean, he's totally at work, so I don't really blame him
absolutely.
if he's busy. Oh, we have to record Weird World Weekly yet. Do you want us to stay on so you can hear that, or do you not really give a shit? All right, cool. So then I just won't stop YouTube and we can do Weird World Weekly. I'm just waiting for it to has 30 seconds left to save.
You have a link to that story?
No, go fuck yourself.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to bullshit my way through it anyway.
The one that I found isn't there isn't a ton going on. I'll still send it to you, but the biggest thing, so apparently some guy hung himself there, and the other big thing was that when apparently the gravestones would change the names at night.
Hey.
Yeah, so that was what everyone went for, is you would go and then you would stay there until night, and then the gravestones would change the name that said it. And that was the big thing, and we never actually went. But Grant, who was our first guest and somewhere in the middle, lives in Glenbeulah now. So, yeah.
I don't know that World War Weekly ever gets done live to the air, Growly Bear. It's one of those rarities.
Oh, yeah. Not anymore, at least.
Yeah, it's strictly, it's all behind the curtain. So we're glad to have you here with us for this special occasion where I try to remember not to swear and probably fail as much as Matt tries not to drink.
Oh, fuck. I totally forgot I got to not swear on this one.
Yeah. I experienced that the last time.
Yeah.
I dropped the F-bomb and like, oh, can we stop? Can we go backwards?
Oh, Jesus. Maybe that's how the house was. So I was like, all right. Should be done.
I have way more windows open than what I should have.
Right.
Why can't I get to my goddamn folder? You motherfucker.
I was just told there's a large situation, which means that there's a large bug somewhere in my house. Five. Okay. What? Jesus Christ. There's a bug in the house. Holy shit, it's like a fucking beetle. But she just like put a cup over the top of it.
Erin does that. I come home and there's a ball on the floor and I'm like, God damn it. There's a spider and she doesn't know what to do. So like I have to watch another fucking bowl. Man, I cannot open my file explorer. This is some bullshit. Windows 10 is being a dick.
All right. Oh, fuck. I'm at the...
There we go. That was actually relatively painless.
All right. Is your butt prepared?
Yeah, I'll just paste it in. Sorry. Shush your pretty face.
All right.
Working.
Are you fucking ready yet?
No, I'm here. This whole fucking weekend, like, I've got a 27-inch monitor, and like my eyes can't seem to see shit.
I have the same problem, but it's because I'm on my fourth beer.
Yeah. Dave, man, hold your dick. You got it. You got it.
What?
It's just like all the chat.
I know. I keep answering him too. That's my fault. It's 100% my fault. You ready? Can we do this?
That remains to be seen.
All right. I'm going to hit record, okay?
Yep.
Corey, so here on Weird World Weekly, we do the weird and the weekly in the world and stuff.
We've been doing less weekly, but I feel
less
world
weekly, but we're still weird in the world. Obviously, one of the things that we do cover here is hauntings. And what is, like, when you think of hauntings, what do you think the most haunted generalized location would be?
Walmart.
You win. I do. Let's just stop it right there.
Not a way to argue that.
There's no way to argue how terrifying a Walmart is. But I meant cemeteries.
Close second.
Yeah, Walmart is kind of like a cemetery, but it's more like of a zombies. So the living dead instead of the dead.
But it's sweet, sweet discounts.
So you can roll back on those living deads at your local Walmart. So keeping with the haunted cemeteries, which is almost like an oxymoron in my opinion, I do want to talk about. It's a cemetery that's actually local to where I live. More local to where I grew up versus where I am now, but still local nonetheless. The Walmart. The
I love that I got you going right into that.
Walnut Grove Cemetery in Glen Beulah, Wisconsin.
Glen
Glen Beulah is just west of Sheboygan, where I grew up, east of Fond du Lac if you're from Wisconsin, north of Milwaukee, south of Green Bay, kind of right in the middle there. But it is growing up, it was a huge thing. That was the Glen Beulah Cemetery is the most haunted place to teenagers before the internet. But the story basically says a man hung himself there, and you can see an apparition late at night. It's terrifying. It was on TV's Unsolved Mysteries. But the biggest one to me is that when I was a kid, we were always told the Glen Beulah Cemetery, the tombstones changed the names displayed at night, which is insane to me. So it'll say like Timmy Jacobs during the day, and at night it'll say Michael Smith. And that was the big thing. Unfortunately,
because
I never made it there.
Doesn't want his ex to come visit him all the time. He's like, just back off, lady. You know, I did this to get away from you.
Had a little too much here, Cindy.
What a terrible choice for a name. Like that is the perfect going into a hotel and you don't want anybody to know that it was you. So Michael Smith is like the premier name to choose.
Except Michael W. Smith, that musical genius. I got nothing. I don't even know what Michael W. Smith sounds like.
I don't know who Michael W. Smith is. Thank you for putting that into the zeitgeist.
He's true. He's a real guy. But I guess so Corey, you grew up in Michigan. Were there any haunted cemeteries that you went to as a kid? Any sweet tales?
I believe that most of the cemeteries in Michigan, if anybody rose from their graves, it was probably so they could get the hell out of Michigan.
You speak
I've been
so
dead for
highly
39
of your
years.
hometown.
I just got here by walking. It was just like, how far can I get from Lake Erie? This is about as far as I could get.
So you got?
Yeah, because you're typing and I don't know what you're doing.
Don't worry about what I'm doing. This is America, son. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there isn't really a ton beyond the actual story. I've never made it to Glen Beulah to see what is going on there. I've never seen any shady business in a cemetery. I was hoping you did.
No, we used to hang out at our local cemetery. It actually, I think one of the local haunted houses took place in the house that was on the cemetery. So I remember going there a lot as a kid, and then as a teenager, it was just one of those spots that was so conveniently located. It was right across the street from our Meijer and from our mall that it was sort of en route to the way home. But we didn't really, it wasn't like we were having midnight parties at the cemetery. It was just kind of like a wander through. But I don't remember a lot of stories of being haunted, maybe because it was right next to a pretty prominent street.
Yeah, I don't know. Cemeteries have always been that place that's I don't know. There's just something weird about them. They're not really scary, but it's just the fact that there's.
It's because you're surrounded by the dead. I think that we put more emphasis on them because of what they are, and because you think, well, this is where you've got a collection of dead people. It's like if you had a collection of, I don't know, Grateful Dead fans, then you expect that you're going to go to the place where they're all dead and buried as they should be, and you're going to have a ton of the activity of Grateful Dead sorts. You know, you're just going to keep hearing Truckin' playing over and over and over again. But that's to be expected because you're in the dead patch. Cemeteries, probably the same thing.
It's super duper weird, but I guess I get it. All right, I stopped the recording there because I really don't have anything else to say.
It's a hard subject, especially at like a last minute poll.
Yep. And not only that, but there really isn't anything beyond the story. So Dave can deal with it. It was 5:45, so it's
good one, Dave.
Worst. Yeah. Haunted cemeteries are just they're very cut and dry.
It's a hard thing to do an audio thing about unless you have like major stories or something. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I gotta go kill a bug.
Yeah, you do.
So, Growly, thank you very much for hanging out for the entirety. It means it really does mean a lot to us. Right now, oh Jesus! You have fun with
Jesus.
that. Yeah, have fun with that. I don't even want to know what the fuck is going on there.
George Carlin always used to talk about cemeteries like you got to dig up that land. It's got good, rich soil. Why are we saving all this wonderful land for our dead? What a ridiculous thing to do. We're beholden to this premise that we have to revere what is just shells. And, since Carlin was, at least in character, an atheist and stuff, he didn't give a shit about any of that. And I conceivably, I get it. What do I want done with my remains? It really doesn't matter to me. I don't have a preference. I think the only thing that would ever pop in my head is those people who seemingly died and then at the last minute came back to life. I sure as shit don't want to come back to life trapped in a box in the ground.
Fuck, right?
But I also kind of don't want to be set on fire if I'm still alive either. So it is one better. Just fucking double tap me, first of all. Whatever I died of, if it's cancer of the butt, if it's I sneezed too hard and all my insides came out, whatever the case may be, double tap first and just make sure I go down smooth, and then fucking feed me to something. I don't know. Like I don't have a preference beyond that. I don't want to take up space. I don't want to be a huge expense. I want my wife to be taken care of and to move on. So hopefully she didn't die with me or die from me pooping at her, because that could happen. Just yeah. I don't need a cemetery.
I have to go.
You're gonna die from a bug.
Probably.
Not even a bug that you wanted to deal with.
I have to go
Someone
murder
else's bug.
I have to go murder a bug. Thanks, Crowley.
Thank you very much, Crowley. We always appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that it's dark out, I'm gonna go murder a bug. We'll talk to you both soon.
All right.
See ya.
Have a good one, Matt.
You too, buddy.